तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That was wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. That was wonderful. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed something at the background. I have some beautiful deities of Lord Jagannath. Are you able to see? They are my
Yes,
new
Prabhuji.
companions at home.
Oh yes, Prabhuji, I can see. Yes, underneath the jula where Radha
Yeah,
Krishna is sitting underneath.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
Very
see.
beautiful, Prabhuji. So
Yeah.
nice.
Very
So,
beautiful. Jai Jagannath.
yeah,
Jai Jagannath,
Jagannath.
Jai
yeah,
Jagannath.
Jagannath, and
Jai
then you can see
Baladev.
on,
Jai Subhadra.
and you can see like black colored deities. So that is Rukmini and Pandharinath. And
Wow.
then on the
Okay.
right side and a little bit further,
Oh
you can
yes,
see,
yes. Oh yes.
and then you
Prabhu,
can,
I didn't see in Jagannath. Can I show it
oh yeah,
clearly?
here Prabhuji.
Here.
Yeah. I show. I see. Okay.
And I can't tell you how excited and happy I am. Like, and you can see Lord Pandharinath, Vittal Pandharinath,
Mm. Yes,
black
yes.
Yes,
colored
Okay.
deities.
Here in the middle.
yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
And then Chaitanya
Panduranga.
yeah, Panduranga. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's small deities. And then you can see Dwarkadesh as well. Uh,
Oh
Mm.
yes, yes.
yeah, small deity of Dwarkadesh and Laddu Gopal.
Laddu Gopal.
Yeah, in
Yes.
the
Hare Krishna.
red color dress.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna Krishna.
And
Hare
then
Hare.
you have a small Narasimha deity as well, next to Lord Ram and Sitaram
Oh, nice.
in the
Beautiful.
middle. Yeah. And I
Yes.
can't believe it. Like, all of the sudden, all the beautiful deities that they have come and in this last this thing that I went. Can you see Narasimha Dev with mouth wide open
Mm.
at the
At the
top
top left.
Oh
on the
yes, yes,
books?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Radha
that
It
Gokul,
is
Radha
yes.
Gokulananda site. Yeah.
Yeah, next to that. So that
Yeah.
is the Narasimha temple that I was talking to you about in Mangalgiri. There's a place called
Himachalam.
Mangalgiri, and that's a place where Narasimha Dev, and you go on the top of the hill, you can see
Pana.
Narasimha Dev in a small, like a cave, and you get into the cave, and you can see the Narasimha Dev's picture like that with the mouth wide open. And in this is a photo where this is literally the face over there of Narasimha Dev, and into the mouth of this Narasimha Dev they pour jaggery throughout the day, and Lord Narasimhadev takes the jaggery water throughout the day. Can you believe it? And they say like you can even hear the gulps of water, like I mean the jaggery water that's being taken by the Lord. It's so amazing actually, and I've been to that place, and I was just so it is over there that I bought that particular Narasimhadev, and even the small Narasimhadev over here, sitting next to Lord Sitaram, Sitaram over here. So. So I was just telling in the temple like Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. So just make sure you offer water and some fruits, which I do in the morning. So yeah, I got all the beautiful. I never expected in this trip to India that I got Lord Jagannath from Jagannath Puri, Narasimhadev from Narasimhadev Temple, and Dwarkadesh from Dwarka Temple. So yeah, it's been such a wonderful thing to just to have all the deities come at the same time home. So yeah, so they are my deities at home on my divine space. Thought I'll just share with everyone.
Very nice, Prabhuji. So beautiful.
Yeah, I
You're
just
making
love.
you're making
Yeah.
beautiful altar. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm going to have Nitai, Gaur Nitai very soon as well, maybe in a week's time. So I'm like
Evo.
busy arranging.
You're very busy, good pujari.
I mean, yeah, see, the beauty thing is you can have your own divine space at home, and then you can do your own kirtans. Radha Krishna will not mind whichever way, just doing your kirtans in the evening times and just serving the Lord. And, this is the best place in the world for me. Just sit over there and just sing the kirtans and read Bhagavad Gita every day. Yeah. So that's what I do, part of my day-to-day life. Yeah, so I thought I'll just show you before last week I couldn't show, yeah, because I had some issues over here with my antivirus and things like that. So I thought today I'm going to just show the deities. And I think it's so important, isn't it? Sarva Akarshiti iti Krishna. Krishna attracts everyone. And you can see how beautiful he is, like in different forms as Pandurinath, as Dwarkadesh, as Laddu Gopal, in so many beautiful ways. And Lord Jagannath, that's so beautiful, isn't it? The deities. We cannot really appreciate. I was just reading about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seen Lord Jagannath for the first time, he literally fainted because he was seeing Sham Sundar over there. I mean, he was literally saying. So that's why it is so important that our senses are not perfect. Because we see everything through the prism of Sattva Guna and Rajoguna and Tamoguna. But when we have pure devotees like Bhakta Prahalad, when we see the Lord himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he seen Jagannath, how he fainted. And similarly, like Bhakta Prahalad, when he was seeing Narasimhadev, he was seeing Krishna everywhere before Narasimhadev appeared. But his father, who was so demoniac, because he was so much of pride and ego and greed that he had, he couldn't see God. But Bhakta Prahalad, because he was a pure devotee of the Lord, he was able to see Lord Krishna everywhere. And there is a beautiful prayer in Bhakta, in Brahma Samhita. Prema jana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayante yam shama sundara chinta guna swarupam govindamadi purisham tamaham bhajami. Premanjana Churita. Prabhupada nicely explains that when your eyes are anointed with the love of God, love of Krishna, when we go to that, when we purify our senses, Sevan Mukhi Jihvad, when you are completely serving Krishna with out of so much of love, then by the grace of Krishna, when eyes are purified, then we will be able to see the real form of Krishna everywhere. Till then, Lord appears in the form of a deities, and for us to be, because our material eyes can see only material objects. So Lord appears in the form of beautiful deities, so that we can take to the personal worship of the personal form till we purify our senses when the Lord can show. In fact, that is what the ultimate bhakti yoga that Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, right? So the highest form of yoginam api sarvesam madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate mam same yukta tamamatha. When you are able to, the highest form of bhakti yoga is one who is able to see Lord Krishna within our hearts, And as all of you, all of our devotees, you were chanting before this meeting started. And that's the goal of life. That's the main goal of life is as we keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Baba Maha Davagni Nirvapanam, that our senses and our heart and our mind gets purified. And then that's when you'll be able to see the real form of the Lord within our hearts. And that's the highest form of Krishna says, one who's able to see the Lord within his heart and always rendering transcendental loving. So is Arjuna, that's the highest form of yoga, according to my opinion. So a lot of people have opinions, but Krishna is giving his opinion that one who's always thinking of Krishna within his heart, he is the highest form of bhakti yoga. So on that note, so I will just do a very quick kirtan and then we will dive into our much awaited Krishna book. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna everyone. So we are going to be diving into the Krishna book, and as we always do, we'll just invoke the blessings of Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. As we always do before we start our Krishna book, we remind ourselves of how auspicious it is to listen to Krishna Katha, where Sri Krishna Bhagavan tells us in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti taktataha chakta deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Where Sri Krishna Bhagavan himself is saying that one who truly understands the transcendental nature of Krishna's leelas, Krishna's appearance, Krishna's leelas, one who understands these leelas thoroughly, those kind of devotees towards the end of the life, they will they will no more come back into this material world, but they will directly go to the supreme planet of Krishna, which is the highest of the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world. Our religion is called as Sanatana Dharma because the original place from where we all came is called as Sanatana. The spiritual world is called as Sanatana. Prabhupada so nicely explains the Jivatma is called as Sanatana, Paramatma is called as Sanatana, that which never changes, which is eternal, which never changes, just like our Atma. The body keeps changing, but the Atma never changes, and that is our Sanatana. So, thanks to our Srila Prabhupada, we are happily in the association of devotees able to do our Krishna book for so many weeks and years, and we are right now in 71. So, with your permission, I will just dive into our Krishna book. I hope everybody can see.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You can see, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm just. Sorry about that. So we actually, for devotees who, I mean, who were not part of the last week's session, so we were starting with chapter number 70, Lord Krishna's daily activities. Yeah, I just remembered, I have to share with you. Last Sunday, I did also speaker for the Love Feast in Manor. And it was nice. They gave me a topic called New Year resolutions in Bhakti life. So it was nice that I got a chance to speak in the Love Feast last Sunday. So hoping that this year, that was my first one. So hopefully this year, I'm going to get more chances to speak more on different topics. But the first topic was New Year resolution in the spiritual world, in Bhakti life. Uh, so this is the chapter number 70, Lord Krishna's daily activities. We are so blessed because, you know, for many people who are not in Krishna consciousness, or people who are like away from the Bhakti life, many people in the material world, they just think about God as sitting somewhere in heaven, someone who's got some, or some people think that God is formless, and some people think that God is just, it's all Brahman, impersonal Brahman. Some people are atheists who don't believe that there is a God. But here we are in Sanatan Dharma, where we not only we are having, we know about the Lord, but we know that Lord has a name called Krishna, which means all attractive in Sanskrit. Not only that, we know that the Lord is a supreme Lord, because Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, mat chitta mad gata pranam bodhayante parasparam katayantest. Krishna says, Mata paratam nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana. So we know that it's the Supreme Lord. Krishna is proclaimed in Bhagavad Gita very clearly mentioning that he is the Supreme Lord. And not only that, we know that Krishna has got, he is the Supreme Lord, but through the Krishna book, through the Srimad Bhagavatam, we get to know even also the beautiful details of the Lord's daily activities as well. And we can see that we are all part and parcel of the Supreme. So we can definitely relate to when Krishna came in this form, because the difference between us, we have a material body, but Krishna has a transcendental body. So, but when he was there on the planet, he was doing everything like how an ideal king would do, and how a normal person would do. But again, if you see Krishna's leelas compared to all the different incarnations, Krishna showed in Dwapara Yuga that he is the Supreme Lord by doing things which are completely against logic. Like at the age of 7 years, lifting a mountain, like Govardhan Hill. So these things, like Krishna has really shown, like, how jumping from a mountain, he and Balaram. So like that, so many beautiful things. How creating a city like Dwarka in the middle of the sea, taking all the people from Mathura. So many things he showed, like how he's the Supreme Lord. And that Supreme Lord also shown that how his daily activities were there in Dwapar Yuga. So we are so fortunate that we started actually reading last week itself about chapter 70, where we talked about how Krishna's daily activities, how he would, even though he is the Supreme Lord, he would get up in the Brahma Muhurta and he would do the meditation. And even though Rukmini Devi and others, they would not like Krishna to wake up so early, but Krishna did everything that he has to do as an ideal person to show, to set an example. Yad yad achariti shrestha tad tad eve tarodana shayat pramanam kurte lokas tad anvartate. So many times people talk about, oh, Krishna was playing with gopis, yeah, he had 16,000 wives. They only know some of the detail, but they do not know the intricate details, or so many details like that, how Krishna would, at a Brahma Murta, he would get up, how Krishna would go and donate cows every day in the morning, and how Krishna would kind of like entertain all the different people who would just come. And we seen last week about Sudharma, like how Krishna would get up early in the morning, he would sanctify himself, and he would do all the formalities that are required. And after that, he would just to set an example according to the Vedic ritual, that this is how it has to be done. And not only that, he would give so much of charity to the Brahmanas. And we spoke about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself did this beautiful prayer when he seen Lord Jagannath, right? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So he himself is saying, you're someone who is so dear to the cows and to the Brahmanas. And we can see that here, Lord Krishna himself would give so many beautiful cows to the brahmanas, and how the cows were so beautifully decorated. We covered all these beautiful things. And so, and we also seen that how his chariot driver Daruka would be ready, and then the Lord would go to the Sudharma, this assembly house, which was where he would be entering, and that's where all the people would be, the brahmanas, his ministers, and everybody would be assembled over there. And we can see like how Krishna was nicely taking his part to show, like in Dwarka, this was his day-to-day life. And we can see like how the musicians and the comedians and so many people were there assembled in that Sudharma palace, and that is where they would do entertain everything and things like that. And the Lord would so nicely appreciate all these things. So we can see that because we are part and parcel of Krishna, so many things that we are doing in this, even in Kali Yuga, they're all coming from the Vedic times. They're all coming from the Dwapara Yuga, and before that as well. And before that, when Lord Ram was being there as well. Krishna says, Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That is why we are similar to Krishna in minute quantities only. Qualities only. But again, in terms of, like, we have to be very clear. A lot of people, they think, like, I was talking to another friend of mine, and he said, like, I believe in Advaita philosophy, that they think that, that I'm God, you are God, everybody is God, kind of a thing. Like, and but here, through Bhagavad Gita and through the shelter of Prabhupada, we get to know that that's not the case. We are part and parcel of the Supreme. Aham Brahmasmi doesn't mean that we are God. Aham Brahmasmi means that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And the duty of the Atma is to always serve the Paramatma. That is the relationship that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to show all of us, that that we are all part, and our main duty is, our eternal duty is to always serve the Lord. Jivere Swarupa Haya Krishna Nitya Krishna Das, which means, like, we are the eternal servants of the Lord, and our duty is to serve the Lord. So here we can see why I was telling that is because we can see some of this, we can relate to some of these activities that Lord Krishna was doing, because we are all part and parcel of him. And that's why we have inherited those qualities, that even today also, if you have a king, they would follow all these procedures, isn't it? And we also seen that in the assembly house called Sudharma, we suddenly so there are two incidents which are happening in this chapter. So one incident that is happening, which is what we are talking about, we all know about Jarasandha, the demoniac king, and Lord Krishna literally defeated him about 17 times. And 18th time, of course, we know when the fight, Krishna suddenly left the battlefield, but that was because Rukmini Devi has sent a letter for Krishna to come. But here we have a messenger who's come on behalf of all the 20,000 kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha because he did not bow down before them. So we can see, like, how Jarasandha had such kind of a false ego. But these are the demoniac qualities. That's the reason why Kamsa, Jarasandha, all of them, they come under the demoniac category, because they have so much of false pride, lust, greed, anger, all those kind of a things. So because Jarasandha, he conquered so many kingdoms, and just because the kings did not bow down before Jarasandha, because they were all Kshatriyas, and because a Kshatriya, they didn't bow down before Jarasandha, and because of that, 20,000 kings have been kept as prisoners by Jarasandha. And so now we have a visitor who has come to Dwaraka, representing all those prisoners who have been kept as prisoners by Jarasandha. And now the person who has come, the messenger has come before the Sri Krishna Bhagwan to give a message. And we also covered about some of the things where last week we just talked about how we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam about how to engage in prayers to the Lord, right? We've seen, like, how we've seen Muchukonda doing his beautiful prayers to Krishna. We can learn from Bhagavatam about how to pray, how to offer our prayers. So here you can see this messenger, who's one of the king, who's come on behalf of all the 20,000 kings who've been kept as prisoners by Jarasandha. He's offering his obeisance, and he's just giving all this. He's offering his prayers to Krishna, that you are the eternal form of transcendental bliss and knowledge. And and he spoke about how even a slight portion of somebody who knows about your glories, they're fully surrendered by your grace. But he's accepting this messenger. He's accepting that we are not surrendered soul and we are still having this duality of happiness and distress and things like that. And we are not able to rise above that. And they never incline to follow the instructions by performing devotional service towards Krishna. So here we can find, like, in Dwapara Yuga, one of the things that we can see is the people in those days, whether you can say Vasudev, or we can talk about Kamsa, like all of these, many of the people, even though are from Uddhva, or we can learn from Akrura, all of them we can see through the prayers. They're so spiritually intelligent, which is something which has gone down a lot in this Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, hardly people are hardly spiritual, right? That's the reason why Sri Krishna Bhagavan is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. So Sri Krishna Bhagavan himself is telling that out of 1,000 people, hardly one person is spiritual. And out of those people who are spiritual, hardly one person knows about Krishna. So we can imagine how rare it is to find people who are into Krishna consciousness. So this Krishna consciousness, which we are all part, we are so blessed because we are having this shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Krishna Bhagavan. So here, this messenger is telling that we are not surrendered at all. So, so Krishna gives a list of the people who are not surrendered, right? He talks about people who are the lowest of the lowest of mankind. They are the ones. Namam duskrita namoda prapajyante naradamaha. He says, people who are the lowest of human beings. They are the people who do not surrender to Krishna. So here the messenger himself is saying we are not fully surrendered to your lotus feet. And even if somebody who's even a little bit surrendered to your lotus feet, by your grace, such person can be freed from all the material anxieties. And this is so true. One of the things which I really love about Bhagavatam is at every step of Bhagavatam, you can link it to Bhagavad Gita and you can understand Bhagavad Gita much, much clearly. So here you can see that he is saying that people who are not surrendered, we are still within this duality, but people who are, we therefore take shelter of your lotus feet, for we are afraid of cycle of birth and death. But by your grace, people who are fully surrendered, even if you slightly surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, by your grace, such people will be freed from all the material anxieties. And this is the same thing which Krishna was telling in Bhagavad Gita. Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarisyasi ata chetva mahankara nasroshasi na vinangshasi. What is so beautiful about Bhagavad Gita is, like, every step Krishna is telling, like, Arjuna, these are the pros and cons. Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarisyasi ata chetva mahankara nasroshasi vinangshasi. Which means Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you completely take shelter of me, if you take completely shelter of me, if you surrender to me, which means if you surrender to me, then by my grace, you will be able to overcome all your obstacles in life. So this is one side of the story. The prospects of surrender to Krishna is like, by doing this, you'll be able to come out of all kind of a problems in obstacles in your life by able to overcome by your grace. But if you don't surrender to Krishna, on the other hand, Krishna tells Arjuna, if you are guided by your false ego, then you will be completely lost. Then you'll have to take your own decision. But if you are taking shelter of Krishna, then Krishna will guide you on what to do. He also says, right? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajate priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam apyantite. Krishna says, to those who are constantly serving me with love, those who are surrendered to me, to them I give them the knowledge by which they come to me. So the choice is there. So here we can see, so it's just not that the prayers, but sometimes we'll have to just contemplate on the prayers, and we had to link it with Bhagavad Gita and try to understand inner meaning of what these prayers. So here which is saying, like, people who are sheltered by your grace, such people can be freed from material anxiety. And this is exactly what Krishna is saying. And but people who are fortunate, they will be inclined to follow the instruction by performing devotional service. Like you find Uddhava, you find Akrura, like all these people, and the gopis are the highest form of, like, who are like completely engaged in devotional service. Or we also found about the Brahmanas' wives, right? Lord Krishna sends his cowherd friends, go and tell the Brahmanas that I'm very hungry, and ask them to give the food. And the Brahmanas say, no, sorry, we are doing this Vedic rituals. We are doing fire sacrifice, homam. In the middle of this, we cannot, because it's not yet completed. Sorry, we can't give you. Please go away. And the same Brahmana and same cowherd men, when they go to the Brahmana's wives, their wives immediately, as soon as they get to know that Krishna is feeling hungry, immediately they will run, leaving their husbands, they will run into the forest and give the prasadam to Krishna, give the food to Krishna. This is what is pure devotional service. So this is what he's saying. They never inclined. People who are not surrendered, they are not inclined. But people who are engaged in pure devotional service, they are always engaging in bhakti life. So here it's very clear that person was saying, like, on the contrary, those who are against the path of Krishna conscious life, people who do not have any respect for Krishna consciousness, and who think, like, oh, these things are all there to be done in the retired life. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm not going to take care of this. So many people are, it's unbelievable to find that there's so many people who are envious of Krishna consciousness. In fact, I used to have colleagues in my office, they're like, oh, what do you Hare Krishna people do? You just happily enjoying it, and you're happily sitting and enjoying and eating food and all these things. You're not working hard like us. So that is the kind of a narrative that they have. But Srila Prabhupada said real intelligence is to know how to live in this material working without working like dogs. So spiritual people, on the contrary, have a different concept of life, that simple living and high thinking. So here we can find, like, people who are not taking to Krishna consciousness can never think of Krishna. You can see, like, again, if you can contemplate on this last statement, on the contrary, they are against the path of Krishna consciousness, and they are wandering within the three worlds, impelled by the illusionary energy of material existence. So what does it mean? Is that because of our own karma, because of our own karmic reactions, we do our own karma, and we are more and more entangled in karma bandhana, with which, towards the end of life, because you are not practiced Krishna consciousness, and because of our influence of our karmic activities and the fruits, we again land up taking another body after another body. Like that, we have been taking so many bodies in this material world, going up either into the patala loka, either we go into the higher planets again. So Krishna makes it very clear. Abrahma bhuvanal loke punar avartinarjuna mame petitu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So Krishna Bhagwan himself is telling Arjuna, right from the lowest of the planets to the highest planet in the material universe called Brahmaloka, they're all places of misery where repeated birth and death takes place in this world. So within these three worlds, we are constantly wandering between these three worlds, going up one planet, again going down. Once you enjoyed all your karmic account, again you come down, again you go down, again you come up. Like that, we have been oscillating between these three worlds. People are into karmic life. There are four classes of life, people that Krishna mentions about, right? The karmis, the jnanis, right, and the yogis, and finally the bhaktas. Four kind of classes of people. The people, karmic people, people who are, even when they do bhakti, they're more into, they're wanting something, they want to have some material desires, some fruitive actions and things like that. The karmis, who are into fruitive results. And then you have jnanis, who talk about, how the world is surrounded by this Brahman, and how to merge into Brahman. And then you have yogis, who are looking at how to practicing their life, and in the devotional life, in a way that to get mystical powers. And then the fourth kind of ones are the bhaktas. They're only thinking of Lord Krishna. Tesham Nitya Yukta Yoga. Krishna Bhagwan himself is telling, out of all these four kind of classes of people, Sri Krishna Bhagwan makes it very, very clear to all of us. Bhaktyamam abhi janati yavan yastasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnanam visite tad anantaram. So Krishna is making very clear that even though there are four classes of people, the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas, Krishna says only by bhakti, only by devotional service, one can understand the supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And when one is conscious of Krishna within his life, and one who's practicing Krishna consciousness towards his life, such kind of a people are eligible to go back to Krishna Loka. See, this is so much matching with what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? So here, if you're not Krishna consciousness, then you are constantly oscillating in this material universe, going up higher planets, going down to lower planets. If you do some pious activities, you go up. Impious activities, you go down like that, or come back into the material world. Because Krishna mentioned very clearly that people who die in the mode of Sattva Guna, they go to the higher planets. People who die in the mode of Rajoguna, they come back into this material world, into this earthly planet. And people who die in the mode of Tamoguna, they go into the animal kingdom. So like that, there is a result for everything, the way you lead your life. But towards the end of your life, if you're thinking about Krishna, and if you're thinking about Krishna, practicing Krishna consciousness, then there is no question of wandering into this material world. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is mentioned very, very clear. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajate antakalevaram tat sada tat bhavataha. So Krishna mentions it very clearly in Bhagavad Gita. Towards the end of the life, whomever you are thinking of, and wherever your consciousness is lying, whether you're attached to the fruity results, whether you are thinking more about your family, or whether you're thinking about your ancestors, whether you're thinking about Krishna, depending on who your state of consciousness towards the end of your life, that is where we go. So if we are thinking about Krishna within our life, then Krishna is saying like Janma Karma Cha Medim. Like he as I said, if you are listening to Krishna Katha towards the end of your life, then Krishna says there is no more going, there is no more wandering into this material world, no more coming back into this material world. So we go back to the supreme planet Krishna Loka. So can I ask anyone if we can read this, dear Lord, you who can estimate your mercy?
Krishna Prabhuji, can I
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Right. Dear Lord, who can estimate your mercy and your powerful activities? Your presence is force of eternal time, baffling the indefatigable desires of the materialistic, who are thus repeatedly confused and frustrated. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto you in your form of eternal time. Dear Lord, you are the proprietor of all the worlds, and you have incarnated yourself with your planetary expansion, Lord Balarama. It is said that your appearance in this incarnation is for the purpose of protecting the faithful and destroying the miscreants. Under the circumstances, how is it possible that miscreants like Jarasandha can put us into such deplorable conditions of life against your authority? We are puzzled. We are puzzled at the situation and cannot understand how it is possible. It may be that Jarasandha has been deputed to give us such trouble because of our past mistakes, but we have heard from revealed scriptures that anyone who surrenders unto your lotus feet is immediately immune to the reactions of sinful life. We therefore offer ourselves wholeheartedly unto your shelter, and we hope that your Lordship will now give us full protection. We have now come to the real conclusion of our lives. Our kingly positions were nothing but the reward of our past pious activities, just as our suffering, imprisonment by Jarasandha, is a result of our past impious activities. We realize now that the reactions of both pious and impious activities are temporary, and that we can never be happy in this conditioned life. The material body is awarded to us by the modes of material nature, and on account of this we are full of anxieties. The material condition of life simply involves bearing the burden of this dead body. As a result of fruitive activities, we have thus been subjected to being beasts of burden of these bodies, and being forced by conditioned life, we have given up the pleasing life of Krishna consciousness. Now we realize that we are the most foolish persons. We have been entangled in the network of material reactions due to our ignorance. We have therefore come to the shelter of your lotus feet, which can immediately eradicate all the results of fruitive action and thus free us from the contamination of material pains and pleasures. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. That was Prabhuji. Very nice. Very nice reading. Um, so actually, this is such a beautiful thing. The way, like the way he's expressing himself. Can you read that? Like, if you really get into the gist of this, the way he's actually offering his prayers or expressing his lamentation, things like that. It is so beautifully to mention that even the people out here, this person is one of them who have been imprisoned and who has actually come as a messenger. Maybe he just escaped from there, but he just came as a messenger. But so nicely, he's just speaking on behalf of all those kings who have been kept as prisoners by Jarasandha, and he's saying like he and look at the way his knowledge is that, my dear Lord, who can estimate your mercy and your powerful activities? Because he knows that anything that Krishna is doing is they're all leelas. When we do something in this material world, they're karma, but when Krishna does something, it is a leela, and it's just beyond logic. It is something which is because the Lord is infinite, and even his activities are something which is beyond logic. And here he is just mentioning he's on one side, he's like, because of the kind of situation that he's in. He's expressing about like how, Lord, you're the proprietor of all the words. And as we all know, Bhoktaram Yajanitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the supreme Lord. He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the one who's enjoying all the sacrifices. He is the master. And here he's having a very clear idea. This messenger is knowing that Krishna has come through he's come on the planet as the supreme Lord, along with his planetary expansion as Lord Balaram as well. And very clearly he's kind of like he's presenting both his thoughts. And look at the way he's expressing his thoughts, right? He's saying that Krishna, uh, we know that you have come for the purpose of protecting the divine people and punishing the this thing, because Krishna says, right, paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he knows that this appearance, Krishna has appeared in this planet to protect the faithful and to destroy the miscreants. Then so his question is, you came for this purpose, then why are we suffering in this material world? Why we be in this kind of a situation? And he also understands that because of some auspicious things that we have done, we all have become kings. But because we had done some inauspicious things, or because of some bad karma that we had done, now we are in the situation that we have been held captive as by Jarasandha. So he's kind of like in his mind, he's just kind of like putting all his thoughts into words, where he's saying like, how is it possible that you are actually supposed to be taking care of the pious people and the faithful people, and if that is the case, then how come we are being put in such a deplorable situation like this? And he feels like it's very puzzling to know that why we have been put up in this situation, because he understands from the scriptures that Krishna has, one who surrenders is completely freed from the sinful life, because this is what Krishna's final message in Bhagavad Gita: Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshisyami Masicha. And which is what exactly he's saying over here. We heard from the scriptures that anyone who surrenders unto you, they'll be free. And this is what Krishna's promise is in Bhagavad Gita, where he is promised saying that anybody who takes to the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna says, don't worry, I will save you from all the sinful reactions. And the very fact that they have been imprisoned is because of some sinful reaction that they have done in their previous life, that because of which they are suffering like this. So so he's very nicely, he's putting up here that it may be that Jarasandha deputed to give us because of our past misdeeds, that they are in this. Look at the realization, right? Because in today's Kali Yuga, when something goes wrong in our life, immediately we blame God. God, why is God doing like this? Why is He making my life so miserable? But actually, God is not doing anything at all. It's our own karma, because of which we are in this either in deplorable situation or we're in a very happy situation. It because of our own karma is putting us in this kind of a situation. Because of the karmic things that we have done, the material energy is putting us in that kind of situation. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. We, under the influence of false ego, we think that we are the ones who are doing everything. Either we are suffering or enjoying. But actually, it is the three modes of material nature, which is the material energy, which is putting us in this kind of situation. Either in a kind of a bad, deplorable situation, or in a very happy situation. So he's making himself very clear, like, so the reason why we maybe because we are suffering, we realize now that the reactions of both, that the imprisonment by Jarasandha is because of so many past impious activities that are done. So look at the way the people are in Dwapara Yuga. They were so knowledgeable that they know that something is not going right. It could be because of some pious things that they've done in the previous life. But also he is very clear that all these pious activities and whatever the pious things happen, what the impious activity, all of them are temporary, and we can never be happy in the condition. So if you really see this particular sentence, it has so much of meaning to this, realizations in this. So in this one, we realize that now the reactions of both the past are temporary, and we can never be happy in this condition life. This is such a beautiful realization, isn't it? This is why Bhagavatam is so important, because it gives us a sense of realization through the eyes of the devotees, through the eyes of the beautiful roles that are being played in Bhagavatam. We can see that both of them are the pious activities, impious activities are temporary. And this is what Krishna is saying. Matras varsas tu kaunteya shitosna sukha dukkada agama payino nityas tam titiksasva bharata. The temporary appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance are just like the summer and winter season, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So the effect of Kali Yuga is such that everybody is is very disturbed in this Kali Yuga. Everybody is having anxieties and all kind of a things. But here we know that it's because of a karmic thing. But here the realization from this messenger is that all these are temporary. All your Even if there's something nice, pious activity that's happening in our life, even that's also temporary. After some time, that's gone. Even our problems are they don't last forever. Even they are temporary. Everything is temporary. In fact, our body itself is temporary, and it's only the soul that is permanent. But it's the body is temporary. Not only our pious activities, but even the body is temporary. This is the reason why Krishna is saying, before the body comes to an end, Arjuna, stand up and fight. So we can see, and also another realization in two things which has been mentioned over here. One, we are that everything, pious activities, any good times, bad times, everything is temporary and everything is going to pass. That is one thing. And second thing is, as long as we are covered, why he's mentioning we can never be happy in this conditioned life, because as long as we come into this material world, we are controlled by the three gunas of mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. This is an energy of the Lord which is completely keeping us in a very conditioned life. That's the reason why we are always constant. As soon as we come into this body, into this planet, we are immediately covered by these three gunas. And because as long as you are in these three gunas, you will never be able to realize the true happiness of the Lord. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistrai Gunyo Bhavarjuna. He says, Arjuna, the Vedas are mainly dealing with these three gunas, mode of goodness, mode of passion. You have to learn to rise above that. And what happens when you rise above these three gunas? Mamcho yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. How can we rise above these three gunas? How can we rise above this conditioned life? Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying, one who's always engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, unfailing in all circumstances, he will be able to rise above all these three gunas and enjoy nectar even in this life. So if you want to, in this material life which where we are so conditioned by these three gunas and going through this duality of happiness and distress, and because of so much of influence of Kali Yuga, the way how to we can, the art of living, how can we be happy in this conditioned world, is by engaging in bhakti life. And this is what Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita. Until then, we can never be happy in this conditioned life because of these three gunas which are working on us. And this material body is given to us by the three modes of material nature. On account of this, we are full of anxiety. So as long as we have our senses are imperfect, as long as we are covered by these three gunas, there is no question of being happy. We are always full of anxieties. Kaler dosha nidhi rajan asti ekahaya mahaguna kirtanadi eva krishnasya mukta sango param vrijayat. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that Kaler dosha nidhi rajan. He's saying that this Kali Yuga is full of faults, is full of doshas, like full of sufferings and full of anxiety. But the only good thing in this Kali Yuga is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by doing kirtan for the Lord, we will be able to be liberated and we'll go back to the Krishna Loka. So that is the thing. Unless till then, till our body is completely spiritualized and still we completely engage in bhakti life, we will always continue to be full of anxieties. And this is what he's saying. The material body condition of life involves bearing the burden of this body, dead body. And as a result of that, we have thus been subjected to the burden of these bodies being forced by a conditioned life. We have given up the pleasing of Krishna consciousness. Now we realize. So this is the highest form of realization, that this life is so short, and to understand that as long as we do not take to the bhakti life, we will continue to suffer because of these three gunas which are constantly keeping us in control. We are never independent. We are dependent. We have been entangled in the new network of material reaction due to our ignorance. A lot of people say, you know what, I don't believe in God. I just do my karma. But they don't realize that even if you think that you're doing your karma, every minute of life, every karmic thing that you're doing, there is a reaction to that. And being that reaction, whether it's good or bad, you will have to again take another birth to enjoy or to suffer the reactions of that, the karmic reactions of that. So people don't understand. That is why it is very important for us to know that in Krishna consciousness, what we engage is akarma. We kind of like we do everything for the pleasing Krishna, and that is the way we lead a karma a life which is free from any kind of a karmic reaction. Samsiddhim Haritoshanam, which means we're doing everything to please Krishna, and then we'll be free from all the sinful reactions. Then no more of coming back into this. So here he's admitting that we realize we are most foolish people. We are entangled in this. And now he's saying, therefore we come to the shelter of your lotus feet, which can eradicate all the results of your. So you see such a beautiful way he's putting his thoughts together. He's saying like why we are suffering. Maybe we must have done some impious activities because of which we have been imprisoned. Maybe because of the pious and because of the pious activities we became king also. So we have to understand through this particular prayer that all of us in our lives you can see that not everything is bad, not everything is good, because we have done so much of karma in our previous life, which is a combination of good karma and bad karma. And because of that reactions, some good pious activities we done, because of which we are enjoying some good thing, good part of our life. And suddenly, because we have done some bad things, we are enjoying that reaction also be enjoying. So that's why everybody's life is a combination of good days and bad days, and sometimes without even doing so many bad things happen to us. We don't know. We have not done anything bad, but we don't know how many past lives we have been incurred. Everything is accrued over a period of so many lifetimes. So maybe something which we had done many lives back, all that is happening, prarabdha that is happening now. So we don't know about that. That's the reason why it is important to take the shelter of the lotus feet, as this person is saying. We are thou come to the shelter of your lotus feet. Why? Because this, until we take to the shelter of Krishna, all the karmic reactions from so many lifetimes, they will continue to accrue bit by bit in each of our future lives as well. So not only this life, in future lives also we'll have to take 20% of the bad karma, 20%, another 20%, another 20, like that life after life we have to take. But Sri Krishna Bhagavan is promising that if you surrender to my lotus feet, then I will cancel all your bad karma. Whatever bad karma that you've done from so many lifetimes, I will cancel everything. So Krishna, that's a promise that Krishna is mentioned, and this is exactly what this person is trying to mention out here. So very important is, final instruction for Krishna is surrender to me. And why Bhagavatam is important is how we can link Bhagavad Gita to Bhagavatam. Over there, Sri Krishna Bhagavan says, Sarvadharman Parichajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Take my shelter alone. Leave all the rituals and just surrender to me, and I will protect you from all sinful reactions. But how to surrender? We have people like this messenger who's showing us how to surrender. And another mood of surrender, the mood of surrender, and in which way we have to surrender to the lotus feet. Very nicely, this example is being given. Similarly, if you see even in Bhagavad Gita, the very Arjuna has shown us how to surrender to Krishna, right? कार्पण्य दोषोपहता स्वभावः प्रच्छाम त्वं धर्म सम्मूढचेतः यश्रेयशन्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम्. You can see how beautifully Arjuna surrenders in this particular sloka in Bhagavad Gita. This is the turning point of Bhagavad Gita, after which Krishna starts speaking about all the yoga. What is he saying? Karpanya dosha. So Krishna says, Arjuna says, Krishna, I'm totally confused about my duty. I have lost my bodily composure because of miserly weakness. I do not know what is the right thing for me to do. I am totally surrendered to you. You are, from now, I consider you as my guru. Please instruct me. Just imagine one sloka. So many things we can learn from Arjuna. One, first, I'm confused about first you have to express, when you're surrendering to Krishna, first you have to express, Krishna, I'm totally in such a situation, I do not know what is the right, I'm totally confused. My first situation, our situation, first we should explain to Krishna. Krishna, I'm in such a horrible situation, and my mind is totally disturbed, which is what Arjuna is saying. He's telling that, one, he's saying he's so confused, and second thing is expressing about his physical posture, that he lost his bodily composure, and because of his mental weakness, he's forgotten his bodily composure is impacted, because whatever, when the mind is impacted, it impacts your body, right? So here he's saying, I'm confused, my body is completely lost its composure, and second thing, I do not know what is the right thing for me to do. So this is how we have to put our things in front of God. This is how we have to take shelter of the Lord. I'm confused. I do not know what's the right thing to me. This is my physical situation. I'm no more considering you as my friend, but I'm considering you as my guru. because Krishna is called as Chaitya Guru. Chaitya Guru means the Guru who's sitting in your heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi Arjuna Tishtati. I am sitting in everyone's heart. And then finally he says, please instruct me, tell me what is the right thing for me to do. So many things we can learn from Arjuna's prayer, right? So similarly here also we can see like so nicely he has put up all these points. Maybe we are suffering because of past deeds, but again, even though we are suffering, isn't it the reason, Arjuna Krishna, that you came to basically to protect people like us? We are supposed to be a sadhu now. We are completely under your shelter. Is it not your humble duty that to protect people like us who are completely taking shelter of you? So finally, his prayers is we come to take the shelter of your lotus feet, which can eradicate all these kind of things and and free us from this contamination. I mean, this is exactly what we were mentioning earlier about how to come out of this contamination of material pains and pressures when we kind of have an experience for a higher taste. Krishna makes it two things very clearly. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahirata chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samavdana vidyate. As long as your mind is contaminated with all kind of material opulences and power, greed, jealousy, envy, and all these kind of things, when they are there in your mind, when your mind is contaminated with all these things, then bhakti life doesn't take place. Krishna himself is saying, then you will not get the inclination towards bhakti. But again, on the other hand, Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopasta param
Who's
dristvani
there?
vartate. But again, if you get a higher taste,
Amrita? Just read that.
if you get a higher taste by associating with the devotees, by eating Krishna prasadam, by going to the temple regularly, by going and doing service activity like a volunteer service, going doing some seva for Krishna's temple, going and cleaning the temple or making some garland. So when you do and get a higher taste, then automatically all these other things will go away. Your inclination, your for for enjoying this material opulences and all these things will naturally come down when we get a higher taste of Krishna bhakti. So just wanted to mention till there. Can I ask anyone if we can read this next one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read it.
Yes, please. Yes, Nisha ji, please.
We're going to start from Dear Lord, right?
Yeah, dear Lord. Yeah.
Dear Lord, because we are now surrendered souls at your lotus feet, you can give us relief from the entrapment of fruitive action made possible by sorry, how do you
Jarasandha.
Jarasandha. Dear Lord, it is known to you that Jarasandha possesses the power of 10,000 elephants, and with this power, he has imprisoned us just as a lion hypnotized a flock of sheep. Dear Lord, you have already fought with Jarasandha 18 times consecutively, out of which you have defeated him 17 times by surpassing his extraordinarily powerful position. But in your 18th fight, you exhibited your human behavior, and thus it appeared that you were defeated. Dear Lord, we know very well that Jarasandha cannot defeat you at any time, for your power, strength, resources, and authority are all unlimited. No one can equal you or surpass you. Your apparent defeat by Jarasandha in the 18th engagement was nothing but an exhibition of human behavior. Unfortunately, foolish Jarasandha could not understand your tricks, and he has since then become puffed up over his material power and prestige. Specifically, he has arrested and imprisoned us, knowing fully that as your devotees, we are subordinate to your sovereignty.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
That's
Krishna.
very nice. So as a continuation of the previous chapter, previous paragraph, you can see that now this messenger, on behalf of all the people who have been imprisoned, who is expressing himself, finally submitting himself that we are completely surrendered souls at the lotus feet. And this is what Krishna is giving final instruction in Bhagavad Gita, that he wants all of us to surrender to him so that he can give his complete protection. Because Krishna gives completely free will to live us in this material world, but we are seeing that this material world, even though we have so much of free will, we are seeing that we are having so much of anxiety. We are being bombarded, we are being totally controlled by this material energy, which is putting us in all kind of situations in this conditioned life, and we are going through so much of anxiety because of the influence of Kali Yuga. So here he's mentioning that, please give us, you're the only one who can give us relief from the people like Jarasandha. And you can see, like in the time of Dwapar Yoga, how kind of a power that they used to have. He's possessing the power of 10,000 elephants. And we know that even Bhima from the Pandavas, he was having immense power of thousands of elephants. So we can see in those days how the kind of, it was a different time of the year, time of Dwapar Yuga, where people were like highly powerful. And just like imagine the comparison that he's giving, just like a lion hypnotizes a flock of sheep, he could easily imprison because he was so powerful. And this is the same thing with Ravana. You can see the same thing with Hiranyakashipu. All these kind of a demoniac people, they had so much of this thing, a false ego. They had so much of this thing with lust and greed and anger and power. The same thing with Hiranyakashipu also, right? He was, because of his power that he got from Lord Brahma, he became so much of pride, that he false pride, that no man can kill, no animal can kill. So that's the kind of, these are all come under the same category of people. And here this messenger is nicely expressing that even though we know from the earlier chapters that Krishna has went and defeated Jarasandha 17 times, and the 18th time also he left the battlefield again because he got a letter from Rukmini Devi who asked him to come and take him away and things like that. And that reminds us that why Krishna can just leave the battlefield and go, because this is also one of the opulences of Krishna, which is because when in Bhagavad Gita, when we express Krishna, will say Bhagavan Uvacha. When you say Bhagavan, we are talking about 6 opulences that Bhagavan has: unlimited strength, unlimited beauty, unlimited wealth, unlimited everything, and then unlimited renunciation. That Lord Krishna can, at the snap of the finger, he can just leave the battlefield out of renunciation, and he can just leave over there. So this is one of the opulences of being called as Bhagavan. Not only that, that Lord has shown his renunciation, that the Supreme Lord, Devadi Deva, he took even the position of being a charioteer for Arjuna. That is the height. This is one of the opulences of renunciation, called renunciation of Krishna. So here, the what this person is saying, that you left the battlefield, and that Jarasandha was thinking, oh, Krishna is scared of me, and that's why he left. No, this is one of the opulences of being called as a Bhagwan, that he's unlimited renunciation. He can just leave the things over there, and he can just leave from there, and which is what he has done. And Jarasandha thought that, and here this person knows that there's no way, because Krishna already defeated Jarasandha 17 times. So why would he be scared of Jarasandha the 18th time? No way. Because we have to remember everything, the ability of all these people, whether it's Kamsa or whether it is Jarasandha, all this ability, everything is coming from Krishna. So Krishna mentions also the ability of the ability that you see in any person, that's also me. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasasuryo pranava sarva vejeshu sabdake paurusham nrishu. Which means the ability of mind, the taste of the water, the light of the sun, everything is mean, and including the ability of the man is actually, it's my energy. That's because of which somebody is having that ability. So that ability of Jarasandha also is because of Krishna. But that is why he is saying, unfortunately, the foolish Jarasandha could not understand, and now because of which, and imagine 17 times you got defeated, and you would be thinking, why somebody would be afraid of me and go away on the 18th time? Because he must have something else. So, but because of Krishna leaving the battlefield, he's thinking that maybe Krishna is scared of him, and because of which he is puffed up with his pride. And this is one of the demoniac qualities. So Bhagavatam also tells us about so many things, like how to pray, how to surrender, what is the devotee's mood. And also on the other side, we can see how the demonic behavior of the demonic people, that this is how we can learn from the devotees, that this is how I should be. And we can learn from the demonic people that these are the demonic qualities we should not have. Right? So here he's saying, like, physically he has arrested and imprisoned us, knowing that. So Jarasandha knew that all of these people are being protected by Krishna, devotees of Krishna, and in spite of knowing that, he deliberately went and arrested and imprisoned them. So we will see a lot of action that's going to go on now. So I want to just so here the messengers concluded, now I have explained the awful position of a kings, and your lordship can consider and do whatever you like. As the messenger and representative of all the imprisoned kings, I have submitted my words before your lordship and presented their prayers to you. All the kings are very anxious to see you, so that they can all personally come and surrender at your lotus feet. My dear Lord, be merciful upon them and act for their own good fortune. So, as we all know, throughout Krishna Katha, throughout Bhagavad Gita, one thing Krishna makes it very clear. Once you take the shelter of Krishna, Krishna promises Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. Anybody who takes shelter of Krishna, Krishna himself is asking Arjuna to tell the world that a devotee of Krishna will never perish because I will always keep protecting my devotee. This is Krishna's promise. So we will cover that in the next. So till here it is actually the prayer of the messenger, the beautiful way he is offering his obeisances to Krishna and expressing his lamentation that all the kings have been arrested. The second part we will see about Narada comes into the scene. This is another part of this story, which is coming under this chapter number 70. We'll cover it in the next week. But I'm going to stop here and yeah, and I'll just open it for any realizations, corrections, yeah, whatever, anything that you would like to share, add more comments to it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanwad, beautiful class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Such a joy to have you. We miss having you around. Thank you, Prabhuji. You are, it's actually like being in Vrindavan because you are from Vrindavan.
No, Prabhu, I am from Vrindavan, but your class is beautiful class, but and Krishna story, Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that is important.
Wherever we are with the devotees, that is Vrindavan, isn't it, Prabhuji? So we have a Brajavasi like you. What more can we ask for? Thank you, Prabhuji. Amaga Prabhuji, Usha ji, anyone would like to add any comments, corrections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It is a wonderful session to hear and all those reflections you are adding within the Krishna's pastimes. It is so nice, Prabhuji. I don't have any comments. Maybe we can just expect from the devotees any questions and any additions.
Yeah, sure. Jahnukanya Mataji, anything would you like to mention? Prabhavati Mataji, Pavan Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I have something to share, and so
Thank you.
something happened this Sunday when we went for the swimming. Um, a person has literally drowned in front of us. We were just went for family swimming.
Oh.
Um, and I just came to know that in a day or 2 days they will just turn off the ventilator. The person
Mm,
wouldn't survive because I think by the
mm,
time paramedics everything came, we knew it then and there because he was
mm,
in the water for almost 7-8 minutes. He
mm,
was kind of brain dead. He's
mm,
only 40 years old. He has a son who is 5 years old.
mm,
And since Sunday, the plan was to go swimming and then go to Manor,
mm,
to attend the Aarti and everything. So I went to the Manor with a very heavy heart. I prayed to the Krishna.
mm,
Um, I, I'm very much affected since that incident because I've seen
mm,
that little boy. I was holding
mm,
him, because his mother was just running around. I want to know, like, why this kind of things happen sometimes in the life, a person who's only 40 years old. Why God, I mean, I don't know, why
mm.
sometimes a life can be so mean.
Yeah.
uh, Especially like when we were reading today, I can connect it. We need to be surrender. We
Yeah.
need to connect to the God, and obviously,
Yeah.
with that incidents, I mean, I'm personally very much affected because I
Mm,
was there inside the pool,
mm, mm,
and it all literally happened in front of my eyes, and um, I mean, I don't know. I know everyone. We all have.
mm,
The God has given a certain
mm,
time frame when we come to this earth. We
yeah.
need to live that. वो बोलते हैं ना, जितने श्वास लिखे
Mm,
होते हैं, we cannot take it more than even a single second. But
mm,
when this kind of sudden incidents happen,
mm,
I was wondering, why did that happen?
mm. Yeah. It's a very good thing. I'm really sorry to hear about that. But again, like I was telling you earlier, Nishaji, like all of us, we come up with a mixture, mixed bag of good and
Mm-hmm.
bad karma as well. We come without it. Many times we blame God, But actually, when we ever blame Krishna when we're having good times, like we think it's all because of us,
No.
right? We never thank God when we're going through some good times. Actually,
Mm.
thanks so much. We always take pride in that well, it is my greatness that I'm enjoying. If you get a nice job, then we feel very great about it. But if you don't get something, then you will blame God. Why is God putting me in this situation? So we're always looking at someone to blame. But so this also kind of like goes to tell us there's so many things that we can sometimes when things happen in our life we can learn. When sometimes
Mm.
we can things happen to someone else, we can learn from that life
Mm.
as well. Recently one of our devotee in Manor,
Mm.
he was like coming and daily doing kirtan, and I mean he was just singing, dancing, and everything.
Mm.
And one day we hear that he just never woke up next day. You know, so that is like as you said, as you rightly mentioned, we all come with a certain this thing like how long we're going to live and things like that.
Yes.
Because of so all these things, that's why the sun in Sanatan Dharma, Krishna consciousness is really something which is very, very, very important for us to absorb and
Mm.
share this knowledge, because many people are not understanding these things, why we suffer in this material. The very fact we come into this material world, it means that we have some karmic account here. And that's the
Yes.
reason why we come into this material world. And we meet out of 7 billion people. If you're meeting somebody, it means that you have a karmic relation with that person from
Mm.
previous life. So like that, all of us, we are coming with a reason. And like, if not over there, maybe the person would have somewhere else, it would have happened. Maybe
Yes, I
that's one of
agree.
the way it has happened.
True.
But again, like his son, we talk about that, but actually if
Mm.
you have to remember that that Krishna is the seed giving father. I've seen so many cases where people have lost their parents at a very young age.
Mm.
Again, it's not that it's not never been the end of their life. God
True.
again presents someone in some form, and they will take over the life from there, right?
Yes.
It's not always how many people have you seen that everything happens so perfectly that only they've been growing in the shelter of the parent. No, sometimes many times people have grown in the
Mm.
shelter of uncles and aunties or grandparents. Like we all never know actually, under
Yes.
whose care we went, because maybe that karma with that person is been only for that time, in that family. So that's the reason why we know that everything is happening according to the karmic thing. That's why we have to be even more careful that it is possible that so many things like this happen. And that should also give us the realization that how much Krishna is protecting us almost on a day-to-day life. Every day we take a car and drive, how many times we miss an accident? How many times we miss so many things in our life? So the Lord, on the other hand, is constantly protecting. But if somebody is
True.
karma is so much, that's the reason why human life is very precious, because only in a human life, like you said, you're trying to understand, you're trying to contemplate, you're trying to understand these things. Then this is what human life is meant for.
Yes.
Human life is meant to ask these questions: who am I? Why am I suffering in this material world?
Mm.
When the Rupa Goswami, when he
Mm.
met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the first thing he asked. He's actually a prime minister in the Muslim
Mm.
kingdom. When the Muslims were there,
Yeah.
he was the prime minister. Such a great person. He left everything and he became a Goswami, and he was completely surrendered. And when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's the first thing he asked: who am I? Why
Yes.
am I suffering in this material world? So this is human life is meant to that. Arjuna is asking in Bhagavad Gita, please tell me what is Prakriti, who am I, and all these things. Similarly, when after the war is over, Yudhishthira is going and asking Bhishma, Kimekam Daivatam Loki, who is that supreme Lord who had to suffer? How do we come out of the circle of birth and death? And that's the
Yes.
reason why Krishna consciousness is such a precious, it's just a lotus. It's like a lotus in a muddy pond of this material world.
Yes,
And
that's what I'm thinking. Like, as a human, we always complain. We
yeah,
just go upset with you said this to me, he or she did that to me.
yeah,
But you never know what's gonna come on the next moment
yeah,
in your life. So
that's all.
every breath we take, we should be thankful
Yeah,
to the God that, thank you for giving us this next day or next moment itself.
yeah.
Like, we are so blessed to that we are alive. I mean, I'm genuinely like, I'm kind of shocked because, as I said, it all happened literally in
Mm,
front of me. It's been 4 days. I
mm,
just can't, sometimes some
mm,
incidents
yeah,
touch you very deeply, and it takes you
mm,
so long to come out of it. And I was like, we just get upset for a very little things, but
yeah,
that's actually a lesson that we should be grateful for every single second we live on this earth, to the almighty, that thank you for giving us this life,
absolutely.
and we are able to do something for someone in the next second or in the next moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because Krishna is
Yes.
telling, like, whether we like it or not, we come like with the baggage of good and bad karma. Whether we
True.
like it or not, some good things will happen to us, whether we like it or not.
Definitely.
And some bad things will happen to us, whether we like it or
Yes.
not. But if we keep reacting to that, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the material energy is putting us through all the situations, and human beings, we are all reacting to all these situations. This is what is going on.
Yes.
Material energy is putting us, giving us all kind of good things, bad things, activity according to our karma, and we are all dealing with that. We get excited when something happens, we get sad when something happens. So
True.
this is exactly happening in the material. But if we rise above this sukha dukkha, that's
Mm.
why Krishna explains what is yoga. Yoga stukuru karmani sangam chaktva dhananjaya siddha siddhi samobhuta samatvam yoga. Perform your duty equipoised Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Because if you're attached to success or failure, success will make you happy, failure will get dejected,
Yes.
depressed.
Yes.
So don't be attached to any of the success or failure. Try to be equal minded, balanced mind, and just do your duty.
Sure.
And that equanimity is called yoga. Krishna is giving a definition of yoga. So as long as we're in this material world, we have to understand that this matras versus to go. These things are going to happen. This is a world of duality.
Mm.
With
Yes.
this, that packages also will come with you, like how
True.
with the charger,
And
with this thing, with the
yes.
mobile, a charger he will give you like that. So like that, we are bound to have both the things, whether we like it or not. But what Krishna is saying is, you rise above these three gunas,
Mm.
and that is when you'll be able to just surpass all these things. That's why Krishna is suggesting that if you want to come out of all these karmic reactions and all that, Krishna is given a prescription in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuru sumadarpanam. He's saying that whatever you do in your life, if you're doing it for your sake, my own ego, then you will have to bear the consequence, karmic reactions of that.
Mm.
But if you do everything as an offering to me, Om Krishna Arpanam, when you eat food, offer it to Krishna. When you're doing
Yes.
some work, think about Krishna. If you're doing some charity, do it for Krishna. Do
Mm.
everything. Yad karosi, yad asna. Do everything as offering to them. When you do that, then Krishna is saying, Shubha Shubha Palareva Mokshasi Karma Bal. In that way, you'll be freed from this bondage, and then there won't be any karmic reactions. You'll be completely liberated, and you will go back to Krishna. So Krishna is giving us the prescription that as long as you're living in this world, there is bound to happen all these things. Whether we like I said, somebody may say, I'm just doing my karma. But he doesn't realize that even though
Yes.
he's doing his karma, he is actually already putting in his bank balance all the
Yes.
things. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So this is what is happening. But good that you shared, and it's very important. In this forum, like
Mm.
our platform is such satsangs, we have to just explain to each other, because sometimes even yesterday, this last weekend, I was just talking to one Mataji, and I was just giving a Bhagavad Gita talk, and after that I mean, it's a different topic again. She had three children, and she said, like, Prabhuji, can you please help? I want to get my children engaged in voluntary activities and
Mhm.
all that. And then I said, okay, Mataji, we'll do that. We have to. I said, like, Mataji, is good that you are thinking like that. Your children have to be
Yes.
engaged in bhakti life, because at young age, if you engage them in bhakti, it'll go into their consciousness, because children
Yes.
are very pure. They're not
True.
yet contaminated like us. We are totally contaminated by
Yes.
the
Agree.
three gunas. By now,
Mm.
we have already taken half our life, most of our life, we are
Yes.
already contaminated with all the gunas.
True.
But children, they're not yet exposed to all these
Yes.
things. So at that age, if we tell them about Bhagavad Gita, at that age, if you engage them in Krishna's services, they
Mm.
will grow up to be beautiful devotees. And then,
Yes.
while she was talking to me about the voluntary activities, then she slowly opened up. Then she said, four children I have. Then I said, like, only three children are there. Where is the fourth child? She said, Prabhuji, can't express to you much, but the fourth child actually is my elder daughter, and somehow she got involved with some Islamic guy,
Oh.
and because of which she left home. So I had told her not to come again to our house, and so I have lost my one daughter, and now the remaining three children are there. I don't want to lose them.
Mm.
I'm from a Brahmin family, and for me, Krishna consciousness, and I really want to be continuing as a Hindu, and I want my
Yes.
children to be leading their lives as proper Hindus, and I want
Yes.
some help so
Mm.
that my children can serve out here, come to the temple out here. Already, my son is saying that he doesn't believe in Hinduism. He's already
Oh.
telling that I don't like Hinduism. So
Mm.
this is the state of situation that, and I was so alarmed when I heard that. I say, like, Mataji, whatever support you need from us, we will help you. You please come and volunteer over here. Come and just get your children
Mm.
in Krishna consciousness. Let them grow. Let them be with all the children, so that
Yes.
you don't need, because mothers nowadays, mothers is a very big difficult to for the mother to train the children like that,
It is,
because
Prabhuji.
she can tell 101 things in at
Mm.
home, but when they go out, they're surrounded by different world altogether.
Yes.
I was surprised to hear that a 5-year-old, they were telling about a 5-year-old child in
Mm-hmm.
the school. The one of the guy, one Islamic guy, one Muslim, small guy.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a 5-year-old guy, a Muslim guy, comes and tells his friends, "If you want to be my friend, you have to convert to Islam. Then only I'll be your friend."
I heard about it as well. It does happen in the
I
schools,
mean,
Prabhuji. You're right.
so what we're saying is like, our children, our responsibility, they're a future of
Yes.
Sanatan Dharma. But the children will not listen to us unless they see that we are following that and we are engaging in
Exactly.
bhakti life.
Yes.
So
I agree.
parents have to, because we are all one family, one Krishna family,
Mm.
Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So
Yes.
we come to them. That's why I keep encouraging people, come to the manor,
Mm.
come and serve, make some spiritual friends. You
Yes.
don't try to convert material friends into spiritual friends. It's not going to happen. They will convert
Yes.
you into this thing.
Yes.
But have your own set of spiritual friends in the temple. We
Mm.
don't want to be against any other religion or anything. We're not even
Mm.
interested in all that.
Yes.
But
Yes, I agree.
our children are our responsibility. And
True.
if we don't make them grow in Krishna consciousness, which is a great platform and a great opportunity for all of us, and Prabhupada has done everything, 360 degree he's given us. He's given
Yes.
us Mahamantra, he's given us books, he's given us deity worship, he's given
Mm.
places to worship, he's given us kirtans, everything he's given us. Now, in spite of all these things, and then seva, a platform
Yes.
to do seva, in spite of giving all these things, if you don't want to use these opportunities and if you're crying about it, then who's to be blamed? Like just like what you were saying earlier,
Yes.
why do these things happen? Then we will ask, why do
Yes, no,
these
no, I
things happen?
agree. Especially in this country, Prabhuji, where we have multicultural
Yeah.
people. So I know, I can imagine. I mean, I've got two
Mhm.
kids. That's why I make sure I bring my kids to temple every
Yeah,
Sunday so that
absolutely.
they should know, you know,
Absolutely.
what's our culture, where we need to go,
Absolutely.
what we need to follow. So especially as you say in this country, especially giving example of that Mataji,
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very important to make sure our kids are aware what our Sanatan Dharam is and what our roots and culture things where they
Absolutely.
need to connect.
Absolutely. Sometimes people say like, Prabhuji, we give you only 15 minutes, but you always speak about half an hour's time. I said like, because I tell them like, I can't help it, Prabhu. They finally given up. They say like, Sham Prabhu, I know when you speak, they're not going to. I say like, because I speak with so much of emotion and passion in my heart,
That's
because
true.
I want our children, our people to know that how fortunate we are in Sanatan Dharma. That's why
Yes.
every afternoon, every Saturday afternoon and evening, twice I give a class in Bhagavad Gita. And the preaching is full of knowledge, trying to tell them like what Sanatan Dharma is. Why are we called as Sanatan Dharma? Why do we offer fruits and flowers to Krishna? What is Krishna's message? What is the whole knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? At least if I can help people to chant one sloka from Bhagavad Gita every Saturday when people come, and if they can take one message from us from Bhagavad Gita when they leave the temple, along with the bakery takeaway, if they can take
Yes.
one message from Bhagavad Gita, then at least we'll feel that satisfaction is there. This is
Yes.
the reason why we speak so much, with so much of passion. People don't get it. Why is Prabhuji, why do you speak? Because I speak because I can feel the pain. I
Yes.
had parents coming in crying to me, saying that
Yeah.
Prabhuji, what do I do? My son is totally gone. He's
Mm.
gone into another religion and I don't know how to bring him back. And I had to go and convince that child, please don't
Yes.
do that. We have a notion of knowledge over here. Why do you have to do that? You know?
Mm.
So this
Now
is why
you.
so I'm just sharing with the kids because this is so important for all of us that we not only have absorbed this knowledge, but as much as we can, do
Yes.
service in the temples wherever you can to spread this knowledge. Like somebody came, like I was in the Goshala, one
Mm.
Prabhuji came and complained to me. He said, like, Prabhuji, I have a question to you.
Mm.
Every time we go to Vrindavan, everywhere they say Radhe Radhe. But you
Mm.
Hare Krishna people, you ignore Radharani. And I said, like, I was like, I was very happy when you asked the question. Then I said, Prabhuji, do you know what Hare means? Then he
Mm.
said, no, I don't know. He said, I told him, Hara is another name of Radharani.
Yes.
So Hare Krishna means we are first praying to Radharani. We are
Yes.
praying to Radharani, please help us to reach Krishna.
Yes.
That is the message of Hare Krishna Muhammad. Then he's like, oh my God, I didn't know that. He said, yeah, that's what. That's what there is no Krishna without Radharani in our life.
Yes,
Radha
yes,
Gokulananda, Radha Govinda, Radha Madhava. Every temple, ISKCON temple starts with Radharani.
yes, yes, Prabhuji.
And I give them an example. I say, like early morning when I give my fruits to Krishna, I don't even offer to Krishna. I first offer the fruits to Krishna, Radharani.
Radharani.
I tell them, Radhama, please, if I offer it fruits to Krishna, maybe Krishna may not eat, but
Yes.
can you please accept it and please give it to Krishna?
Yes, you will never say no to
He'll
Radharani.
never say
That's
no to
true.
you.
Yes, that's 100% true, Prabhuji.
This is what, and this is how we have to develop those emotions. Unless you're emotional and unless you have that love for Radha and Krishna together,
Mm,
how is it possible that towards the end of your life you will remember Radha and Krishna?
true.
How will you, unless you have that emotional? I never say Radharani. At home, I always call as Radhamma. Amma means mother in my
Yes,
language. So I
true.
say Radhamma
Mm.
because, we have to have those, we keep our emotions for all nonsense things. When an
Yes,
iPhone drops on the floor, literally our hearts are shattered.
yes. True, true.
but, but those emotions, we should save them for Krishna
Has
and
to
Radha
be
and
for the
Krishna.
Krishna and
Yeah,
Radharani. No,
that
I
is
completely agree,
that is
Prabhuji.
where our emotions should be actually. Our emotions, everything. That's why Krishna consciousness is nothing but dovetailing our emotions, our senses, everything for the service of the Lord.
Yes,
Samsiddhim Hari Toshanam.
yes, that's
To
true,
please the
Prabhuji.
Lord. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Prabhuji.
Gayatri ji, Pravati Mataji, anything sorry you would like to add? Sorry, sometimes we have, because these are important, I'd like to share on the forum as well.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, thank you for such a wonderful class, Prabhuji, today. Actually, I wanted to ask you if there is a video or something which you have given in the manner you were saying about the New Year resolutions in the section.
I,
That
I, I have an audio, Gayatri, if that's okay. Somebody, one of our friend called Prashant Paritosh Prabhu, he's actually not here, but yeah, he actually recorded. He was listening from the front end. He recorded the audio, and some nice topics actually, like what is the actual resolution that we should have in Krishna consciousness. So if it's okay, then I can share it on the WhatsApp on the group, Gayatri ji.
yes, yes, I would like to listen to that as well and make some of resolutions to my own life
Yeah,
as. So thank
yeah.
you, Prabhu. You can post it. It will be very nice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, Gayatri ji. I'm ready to do anything that we can serve our devotees. So, and I'm just praying that 2026, all of us, we get to do a lot of service for the Lord and do as much as we can to please the Lord. Yesterday was like half a day I spent at home and half a day in the manor. By the time I finished 11 o'clock, I did about 64 rounds of chanting. So I was like, this is the way we had to spend Ekadasi. Just chant, just keep chanting till we please the Lord. Whichever way we have to do our part from our side, and we should wait for Krishna's grace from the other side. That's why this beautiful sloka that I like from Srimad Bhagavatam. Tate nukampam susamikshmano bunjana evatmakritam vipakam hridvagavabe vidadamsta namaste jiveti sumuktaye dayabak. Where he mentioned that the devotees of the Lord, they say, like, if they're suffering anything, it's because of our own prarabdha they come up. But so they're not asking Lord to relieve of all any kind of a problems, material problem, but devotees are just waiting for the grace of the Lord. That Lord, we just need your grace. We don't want anything like, whatever we're suffering in this material because of our own karma, but we don't want anything from you because of that. We're just waiting for your grace. So we do our part and then we serve Krishna. So our happiness, true happiness, like yesterday I was like singing for Krishna, sang the arti, then I did the kirtan, then I give a Bhagavad Gita class. So these are the things. We cannot stop our desires, but we have to purify our desires by engaging them in Krishna Bhakti. And that's where we should really experience our true joy. And then, as we can see, some of the incidents that happen, like somebody lost their life at 40 years and things like that. So we should be prepared that that life may come to an end at some point of time, whether it happens for devotees as well as non-devotees. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the devotees, they are not afraid of death. Krishna himself makes it very clear. People who die in light, they don't come back into this material. People who die in darkness, they come back into this material world. He explains in Akshay Brahma Yoga, chapter number 8. But he says the devotees, they're not baffled or they're not worried about, they're not anxious when they die. because they know that whatever they're doing, their life is totally dedicated for Krishna. So there is some kind of a comfort that they have, that towards the end of their life, even if they live, they know that they're going back to Krishna Loka, or they are in the good hands of Krishna because they're surrendered to Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, very beautifully explained. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I
Hare
think
Krishna.
Prabhuji has a question in the chat box.
Oh, is that okay? Which is that? Neeraj Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare
What does
Krishna,
surrender to
Babaji.
Krishna practically mean in day-to-day life, not just philosophically? So, so Krishna says, okay, yeah, philosophical. Sometimes we say, like, how does this translate in the bhakti life? One important thing, Neeraji, like, I mean, Prabhupada explains, like, how to surrender to Krishna is the four sutras that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita in chapter number 9, verse number 34, where he says, Manmana bhava madbhakta majjadi mam namaskuru ma vivesasi yuktva atmanam madparayana. Four things that Krishna says, Prabhupada explains, that Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, how to surrender. Engage your mind always in thinking of Krishna, right? Always, how do you engage your mind? Always thinking of Krishna. Keep thinking about Krishna Katha, all the beautiful leelas of Krishna. Always constantly chanting Krishna's names, right? In that way, whichever ways in which can make you think about Krishna, which ones which make. So today we had a Krishna Katha, you can contemplate about it, like what is Krishna's message, how beautiful Krishna is. So all these things you can absorb in that. So that way we can think of Krishna, we can chant Krishna's name. That's another way of thinking Krishna, because whenever we are chanting, when you go to the level of offenseless chanting, similarly immediately it will reflect in, by calling out Krishna's name in the chanting, it will reflect on Krishna's form, Krishna's leelas, and everything. So engage your mind thinking of Krishna by chanting his name, become his devotee by following the instructions mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, and following the footsteps of great devotees like the gopis and Arjuna, always engaging in loving Krishna. Offer your obeisances, that's the third one, which we always do, like morning when you get up, offer your obeisances. And fourth thing is worship. Worship me. Krishna says, engage your mind thinking, become my devotee, offer your obeisances, and worship me. And how to worship Krishna? Krishna mentioned very clearly, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upahiritam Asnami Prayatharma. So these four things, Neeraj ji, if you can do, think of Krishna by always chanting his name, become his
Mhm.
devotee by always engaging your in service of Krishna, offer your obeisances, and worship Krishna with all your heart early in the morning when you wake up by following the regular principles. And add to this, think everything that you do, think whether this is favorable towards your bhakti life. If anything is happening favorable towards bhakti life, those are the things which you need to focus on. And remove all the things, negative things which are taking you away from bhakti life. This is another way of looking at it in terms of surrendering to Krishna. Accepting all the things that are favorable towards bhakti life, and rejecting all the things that are taking you away from bhakti life. So that is one
Okay.
other thing. And another thing, Swarup Prabhuji, you are there. I didn't see that. And Prabhuji is con understanding that the jiva exists first and then create karma, and or does karma exist before the jiva? Please help understand. First and create karma. So for the fun thing which is so one we have to understand is the jiva is actually, for the jiva there is no birth or death at any time. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भवितना भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने sharire. So the Atma or the Jiva, there is no birth or death at any time. He does not come into being. He's always been existing since the Paramatma. So it is right from the beginning. So somebody asked, like, are there new Atmas that get created? It's not like new Atmas, like there, how many Atmas? Right from the beginning, we have been existing since the time the Lord has been existing, because we are part and parcel of the Lord. So it is only the body comes into existence and lives for some time and perishes. But the Jiva or the Atma, there is no birth or death anytime. He's always been existing since the beginning of time, right? So, but the Jiva, once he starts taking a body, and we have, according to Sanatan Dharma, there are 8.4 million species of life. 8.4 million species, like 200,000 in the aquatic life, and another 2,000 like that. There's a list of segregation of the different jivas and aquatic jivas, and on the land, on the air, and things like that. Total about 8.4 million uh, species or jivas that you can talk about, different bodies that the jiva can exist. So, and the atma has been taking different kind of a bodies from time immemorial. So And over a period of time, when it comes to the manish, that's why human life is so expensive, because after transmigrating so many different bodies, finally we get a human body. So with every time we take a life, the karma comes along with us. And because in an animal life you wouldn't understand, because the nature has fixed them in certain boundaries, they don't know what good karma is, bad karma is. But somehow, if I buy some good fortune, if you come to the level of a human manisha jiva, we have to be very careful about how the karma is. So jiva, to your question, the jiva has always been existing. It doesn't come into existence newly, which is what the sloka is mentioning about. And yeah, as long as you take a form, a form, the karma comes along with us. And that's the reason why the very fact that we are in this material world is because we must have done some karma in our previous life, which has put us in this body on this earthly planet. Like I said, if somebody is in Sattva Guna and they die, they would have been in the heavenly planets. But the very fact that we are here in this, that means we have died in the mode of Rajoguna and things like that. And that's why we come onto the earthly planet. But now, if we realize that, and if we mold our life in such a way that we are doing everything and offering to karma, then we can come out as this karmic reaction.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So our karma will remove now, or still how it will keep, how
Yeah,
to
so
reduce this?
yeah. So how to reduce is like, which is why I was just mentioning, like, now that you come to Krishna consciousness, we surrender to Krishna, right? And we dote all our activities to Krishna. And once you surrender to Krishna, it is Krishna who is given his final instructions in Bhagavad Gita that since you are surrendered to me completely, I will cancel all the karmic reactions that you have accumulated over so many periods of lifetimes. We, all of us, we have accumulated so much of karmic reaction, which is accruing from one life to another. So only Krishna, it's only in Krishna's hand that he can completely cancel all our bad karma. And it's only by the leela of, by Krishna's grace, which is why he was saying, Machitta Sarva Durgani Mat Prasadat. By your grace, by Krishna's grace, then we can come out of all this karmic reaction, out of this life and death, and this that karma that's coming along with us life after life, and we can go back to the spiritual world, go back to Krishna Loka. So till that time that we are surrendered to Krishna, till Krishna has his grace, till then we will be oscillating between all these planets, upper planets and lower planets in this material world, universe.
Okay,
So
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yeah.
So to your
Yes, I
answer,
understand.
yes. So what happens is, Prabhuji, in case if you are not able to go to Krishna Loka, then what? Because, unless you are pure devotee of the Lord and you are completely practice Krishna consciousness in such a way that towards the end of your life, you remember Krishna and you go back. But if you have not even gone back to Krishna Loka, but if you have done so much of piety in this life and you're taken to Krishna consciousness, then Krishna says, towards the end of your life, Krishna will give you a kind of your next life will be such a beautiful life that you will be born in either a very rich aristocratic family where you will be able to have all the resources at your end to practice, or you will be born in a beautiful devotee family where they will completely, parents are completely devotees, and you will also become another great devotee by being the care of a devotee family. You see, right? Some of the devotees, they're born in a nice, beautiful devotee family. Right from childhood itself, they do devotion. There are so many such kind of devotees in Krishna consciousness, right? So like that, your next life either will go back to Krishna Loka. There's no coming back. Na tad yate suryo na shashanka na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dama paramam mama. So Krishna says that one who reaches Krishna's planet, there's no coming back. So, but if that doesn't happen, but you have done some stock of Krishna consciousness, then you accumulate so much of spiritual bank balance that your next life you will be born in a beautiful family of devotee family, and a nice rich family where you have all the resources to continue Krishna consciousness. In fact, Arjuna is asking Krishna, what if somebody done some karma, where he's been practicing Krishna consciousness and suddenly he dies because of some karma, because of the karma, then what happens about that person, Krishna? Krishna says, anybody who is practicing Krishna consciousness, they're never the losers. And nothing gets lost for a Krishna conscious person. Wherever he stopped his bhakti life, from that point it will continue in the next life. That is the reason why you feel some of the devotees, right, in Krishna consciousness, they're so young, but they're so much into Krishna consciousness. so much into Krishna consciousness. You see, Pavan Prabhu, at his age, I was enjoying my life in material life. He's at his age when I see him and I feel so guilty because at his life, at his age, I was just like enjoying material life and doing all kind of things, fashions and all the kind of nonsense. But you see, he's doing about be a monk. This thing that's because his bhakti life is carrying on from his previous life. Is carrying on. All of us, if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, it means that we have left off somewhere in our previous life. We are continuing over there.
But I have another question, Prabhu Hare Krishna. Hey, as we keep saying that in most of movies and everywhere, the child should do whatever they like, right? Even for you don't want to become a doctor, you don't want to become engineer, we allow them. For religious also, you know that in this country there's a RE subject. They got all the stuff, what is right and what is wrong. If we try to do this, at sometimes you are so racist or you're trying to force us something. So how to handle that type of situation? I mean, they feel
So
that we are racist against Muslim or we are racist against someone else or we are racist against Pakistani. So how to handle that type of
forget
thing?
about.
And do we allow them to do whatever they like, or we need to force some point of time, or how it works?
So this is why you see this is where Krishna consciousness, the spiritual platform of Krishna consciousness comes into picture. Because I can tell you from my personal experience, I was once telling small children who belong to a Brahmin family, right, and the father was he just put me off. He said like, don't tell anything to my children. They will know someday. So that
Yeah,
was his
yes.
answer. They will know
Hmm.
someday. Don't tell don't teach them about spirituality. Don't tell them about bhakti, because this is how we have been misguided by the Western culture. Because we've been
Yeah.
influenced that my children, if they want them to be prosperous, they think that
Yeah.
in the childhood we'll put them all through material education, and we want them to be having a high flying career, and towards end time sometime maybe they will learn about spirituality. But if you think
Hmm.
our original Vedic system, our Gurukul system, they taught about so many things about how to build up your character, how to build about your morality. This how this Krishna Katha brings so many nice good qualities in that person. So, but this on parents on their own first thing, they're not allowing their children to grow up in this kind of a Vedic culture. They think they are being misguided by the society. That maybe if we do it, if we raise our children in that way, then they will become like great, leaders in the corporate world and things like that. But unless you have a spiritual foundation, unless you have some spiritual values and culture, that is when you'll be able to develop a nice spiritual personality. That so that any kind of today, why people are just getting depressed and all that, because we have been growing up in material education, but we have not been taught how to handle life, how to have kind of like a spiritual intelligence to how to come out of it. And now they are struggling. You can see all the people are depressed in this material world because if you look at their life, they never had any spiritual education at all. But if the children can grow with spiritual education and things like that, they will have automatically, doesn't mean that spiritual children who are growing with spiritual knowledge, that they will lack in material knowledge. No, definitely not. the God will help them in the material education as well. Nobody is so dumb that they can't excel in their education. But then, if you have the spiritual foundation, then no matter what the struggles are, they will have that kind of a strength to face all kind of a problems. So to your point, if the parents or themselves do not have that kind of a background, because obviously they didn't practice bhakti, so they don't know how to tell the children. Many times we get requests saying that, Prabhuji, can you tell my children? They'll say like, I say like, you follow and they will follow you, kind of thing. They say like, no, 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 we don't want to follow me. You can tell my children. So I say like, no, that's not how it works actually. The parents have to follow. But if they're not able to give so much of time, because even parents are working nowadays, both the parents are working, which is a very realistic thing. So in that case, the best thing to do is parents can at least take that effort to put the children in the hands of Krishna consciousness in our mandir, putting them in the service, allow them to do some service. The other day, you will not believe it, I was talking to one Prabhuji, and he was talking about how his children, he wants them to be engaged. And I said, like, what's your child doing? A small child. And he was there in the place where they're serving Mahaprasadam. And what a small child is doing. Like, I don't think he'll be 4 years or 5 years. And he was giving plates to everyone. So already he engaged his son in, giving plates and doing some service for Krishna. So now this child, because he's growing in the ambience of spiritual ambience, he will grow up with all the wonderful spiritual ambience, and which will give them all the knowledge and the strength. that yes, we are serving Krishna, we have a higher purpose. In that way, that is why you see, Neeraj Prabhu, a Krishna conscious child try to brainwash that person into another religion. I will bet you on that. He will not be able to do that. Why? Because I seen literally our friends' children who are practicing in Krishna club and Krishna consciousness. They have
Mm-hmm.
even corrected the teachers also. Don't talk wrong about Hinduism. This is what is the right thing. So they will grow up with such kind of a beautiful spiritual understanding that no matter whether people from other religion come up also, they will have so much of Shakti, so much of knowledge that they themselves will give up, and you will be surprised to see how children are so intelligent that they will answer if you put them in Krishna consciousness. So parents, if they, to your question, if parents do not have the time to tune the children in Krishna consciousness in this thing at home, because sometimes they don't listen to the mother parents, and parents are always stressed out because of the jobs and things like that. So the best thing is, just I tell mothers, like, bring them to Krishna conscious, bring them to the mandir. Don't tell them anything about God also. Put them in service. Let them enjoy some service. And slowly that one service, and I have literally seen that in Krishna consciousness. You do one small seva for Krishna, you're gone. Krishna will pull you. Sarva akarshiti iti Krishna. Krishna is so attractive that he will pull you. He will pull you. He will not allow you. And I seen myself, I'm a personal example of that. I was just standing and singing the arti and giving arti to everyone. Please take the arti, please take the arti. And slowly he started adding up services after service. Krishna Bhagavan has added. Then he started saying, okay, no, you sing Aarti. Then you sing Kirtan. Then you start preaching. Then he added so many layers that today, weekend, I don't have time for anything else. I do Kirtan, I do Aarti, I do Bhagavad Gita preaching, I do Goshala, Go Pujas. So this is how Krishna, you take one step, Krishna will take 100 steps. But parents have to take that one step that they're taking the children to Krishna consciousness. From then, leave it in the hands of Krishna. Krishna, I'm
Very
bringing my
good.
children to you. You please guide me. Should be like just like how this messenger offered his obeisances to Krishna, surrendering to Krishna. That's how we should. That's why Krishna Katha is not just like listening to Krishna Katha. We should contemplate that this is how we have to surrender to Krishna as well. Just like how the messenger said, we are surrendered to Krishna. Please help us. That's how we should ask for Krishna. And then we serve Krishna and we ask for Krishna's help. Then Krishna will definitely help us. Just like a wife daily comes and the husband, saying like, okay, I love you so much, I love you so much. Where is the food? I said, no, I haven't cooked any food for you. Next day also husband comes saying, like, I love you so much. So did you do anything? No, I haven't done anything. I haven't cooked food for you. I haven't done anything. I said, like, where is love? Love is a form of expression, isn't it? When you're serving, that's how we are showing our love towards anyone, whether it's a friend towards a friend or a wife and husband. By doing small little things for each other, we are showing our love, expressing our love. Similarly, in bhakti life also, we should show our love for Krishna. And then you can see the reciprocation, because Krishna is make it very clear in Bhagavad Gita. Ananyas chintayantoma ye jana paryupashite tesham nitya viyuktanam yoga shemam vahamyaham. You surrender to me, you meditate on me, you serve me in bhakti, and I promise you I will reciprocate your love. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, this is Krishna's promise that you do anything little bit for me, I will reciprocate your feelings. I will not forget. Muchukonda in Krishna Katha forgot who Krishna is. Then he said, like, who is this four-armed Narayana form? Then Krishna told Muchukonda, you are a great devotee in your previous life. You've forgotten about it, but I remember. And this is what Krishna tells Arjuna also. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tav Arjuna. Arjuna, you have forgot so many lives you and me have happened. You've forgotten all that. But Krishna says, I remember all your lives. So Bhishma Pitama says, Krishna, why am I suffering like this on the bow of arrows? Then he says, last 50 lives I've seen, there's nothing bad that I have done. Then Krishna says, before that you have done. So Krishna not only remembers 50 lives, he remembers like millions of our lives, what we have done. But in this life, if we have come to Krishna, that is his mercy. And this we should not leave. This mercy we should not leave. That's why we should hold on to the feet of Krishna. Finally, somehow we became fortunate to become your devotees. We are not going to leave your feet now. We don't, because we don't know next life where we're going to be, or whether we're going to slip away from this bhakti life. But so we just hold on to your lotus feet. Please take us from here. So sorry, this today has been a really light,
Very
extended
nice, very
session,
nice.
but I hope it was helpful for our devotees. And for I'm sorry if there's anything that's incorrect that I have mentioned. You're always free to correct me. I'm just sharing my opinion and my point of view based on my experiences in Mandir. whatever I'm seeing, I'm just sharing, and I share the grief. It's not like, something should happen bad to us that we feel bad about. When you feel that some family is suffering and the children are going away from them, we should feel for them. We should feel for them. How can I help this person? How can I help at least the remaining children, that they don't leave their mother? We should have those. We should share those feelings. Only then we will be able to do our justice to our to our bhakti life. It's not like I have done my voluntary service, I'm going home, I don't care about how other people know. We should all have a feelings for people who are suffering in this material world. They're all suffering. That's why, as Krishna consciousness, we learn and we share, and as much as possible that we can, help those people, bring them into Krishna consciousness. Like this person who was already slipping into Islam, and when I've told the father, bring your son every time and I will speak to him. Next day, that son who was actually going off into Islam, he came to me with the Bhagavad Gita and he said, can you please answer all my questions? He had a volley of questions. I answered all his questions, and I seen him after that. I've seen him regularly coming to the temple. So we do our bit. We just do our bit. And after that, we leave it to Krishna. Krishna, please help the family, whichever you can. So on that note, I would like to stop over here. Sorry, apologies for the delay. Amoga Prabhuji, shall we just offer our this thing? Vanchakalpatarubhyasya. Because I have forgotten.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Though we do not feel the time is passing, but it is so nectar Prabhuji to hearing and again. We feel that. Thank you so much.
Really good session,
I
Prabhuji.
request
Thank
all
you so
the
much.
devotees kindly do fill our Haribols to Prabhuji, and we can.
Haribo.
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 Thank you so much,
Haribo.
Prabhupada.
Haribo.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri
We got
Prabhupada.
small little Haribo as well.
Oh yes,
Latest Haribol.
that's
The most exciting thing in manner, sometimes when I ask people to say Hare Krishna, the loudest people are all the children actually these days.
Yeah.
And they're like, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
So this is the seed, we are planting the seed. They're going to be the future of Sanatan Dharma. So that gives me a lot of joy when I see children, That's why every Saturday, 5 to 6, I try my best to keep it only for children, so that all the children can give them instruments and they're like, you play whichever way you want to, but just come and enjoy, so that next time they will feel like coming to the temple. So that's what we try our best. So
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I just want to mention one thing. When I do book distribution, a lot of people come with the same kind of problems about their children.
Yeah.
And what I find is very helpful, and I know that for a fact, because most families that are Krishna consciously engaged, the children would say, oh, my mother helped me, my mother said this, my mother taught me, my mother sent me to school, she insisted that I went, and I'm so glad. So mother is in a very good position to help people. Children, they depend on the mother, and of course they spend a lot more time with the children, so that's their biggest and most successful guide, really. So if the mother insists that the children come, look how many facilities we have in the temple.
Absolutely.
Even me, when I don't go to the temple, I miss it. And the children are so happy. They run around. They're so, the mother leaves them. Everybody's their family there. It's so beautiful. And everybody looks after their children. Because we love children, and they're
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
all the
Absolutely.
questions they come with is so beautiful. And I think we should encourage them
Yes.
mostly. And children want guidance. They want to be led.
Yes.
They depend on us. So
Absolutely.
the mother is the best figure to help in this position, because fathers are often away and working, and
Yes.
although they do play a good part, some families are very insistive that they get their whole family engaged. And with book distribution is a very good position to encourage, and how we tell them that the books are the best investment to the children instead of the material attraction, and follow, and they don't want to go with these unpleasant children to play with. So children find joy into Krishna consciousness because we have got the facilities 100% to support them. So when I tell family, oh, you know what, you take the book And the children come up and I said, do you like reading? And they say, yes, we do love reading. Okay, how about asking your mommy if she would come and have a look at the books that are really special to all of you? So I encourage them to read together.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
I said, please come back and give me some feedback. And they do. They
Yeah.
come and say, Mataji, thank you so much. The guy who's in charge of the fruits and veg from the farm. He actually, I forgot, I met him. He comes up to me and he says, Mataji, you saved my life. I said, how can I save your life? He said, because of the Srimad Bhagavatam that you encouraged me to take, because I didn't know much, and now I'm reading with a class, and every day I get the best nectar in the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said, and he comes and tries to fall on my feet all the time, and I have to hold him up. He said, you saved my life. And this is a big grown-up man, and he said,
Yeah,
and
no.
I forgot about him. I remember the face, but I didn't remember what a connection I had with him. And every time he sees me, he offers to buy me fruits and veg. And I said, no, thank you, no, thank you, I can't take it. But this is the good relationship we build with people. They remember
Absolutely.
what has helped them to move on. But children only learn from us. They want to learn.
Absolutely.
And they're the best resources at that age to pick up every kind of. So, yeah, I must say, the mothers, we must, as mothers, try and engage ourselves and take the children with us. Many, I think most Indian family take their children with them, the way I grew up. But when you come to the Western world, you have babysitters, you have family to leave your children with, and you don't know what the influences are and so on. So, if you plant the seed, it will germinate as little by little. So give them books, give them nourishment, which is most important.
Absolutely. Such
Yeah.
a beautiful thing, Janma Mataji, you mentioned. And really all glories to your service. And actually, it is Krishna trying to tell you, like, actually, that what kind of a wonderful service that you're doing for Krishna, that people are feeling so emotional, they won't even touch your feet. And this is actually Krishna's reciprocation, because sometimes Krishna will give you the message through somebody, so, and it is such a beautiful thing. Imagine like how much the person would have felt that he really wants to show his gratitude, to you. So
Yeah.
these things, it's Krishna in so many ways, he gives messages to the devotees, that the services sometimes we do, maybe we do it like we have to do it kind of thing. But Krishna is saying, no, it's just not like you're doing it just like as your dharma, but actually it has got a lot of impact on the other person, that because you are bringing one person closer towards Krishna, and there can't be anything more this thing for Krishna that you can do to please Krishna. Because Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Anybody who's preaching for Krishna, there's somebody who's nobody more dearer than him. So I totally second on what you're saying, Mataji, and that's the reason why Saturday, sometimes when children come, I encourage the parents and I say, like, can you bring all the children forward and give them tambourines and all these things? And I literally give them and I say, like, do bang whichever way you want to, but we want you to come and enjoy in the mandir, so that next time you feel like bringing your parents and saying, like, next
Yeah.
time the children should say, Mama, I want to go to the mandir. I'm enjoying over there. That's the kind of spiritual ambience we have to create. So
Yeah,
children
and
should
today
relax.
I actually didn't go to the temple because you said you were there today, were you? Yeah.
Yesterday was
And
there.
yesterday I was there till, oh my God, I tell you, I'm getting into trouble now. I was there, I got home 12 o'clock because I was there all that time trying to complete the service that we ventured into, and the joy I got out of that. Anyway, I didn't go today because it was my birthday, but I
Oh,
spent
today.
time with my deities. I spent time with my deities, and that was so special.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mataji, wish you a very, very happy birthday, Krishna conscious birthday. We didn't know
So,
that it's your birthday.
but I know
Happy
I
birthday,
don't
Mataji.
celebrate. I just,
Yeah.
I like it quietly with
All
Krishna.
glories to your wonderful service, and we pray to Krishna, Radha Kokulananda, to shower loads of blessings on you. I mean, you are such a wonderful and joyful devotee. You are like I said, when you dance in the morning, 7 o'clock, you literally dance your heart out. It's with all your heart you do it, and this is what really shows in the way you enjoy yourself in Krishna consciousness. And for me, I just find it like so much of joy whenever I see you in the mandir. So
What
yeah,
does you
so
say?
great.
Krishna makes it happen, because I didn't learn to dance.
Yeah, yeah.
It just happens
It
because
just
I
happens.
enjoy the music, and Krishna saying, if you enjoy it, just show it. No,
No,
but
Mataji. All glories
it
to your
is such
service.
a joy to go and see the deities,
Yeah,
and the dressing up of the deities and the opulence of Krishna. So
so
beautiful.
beautiful.
And look at the colors. The picture of
Colors.
Amuga Prabhu's background is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whenever I should send it to any of my friends in the material world, they're like, "Wow, these deities are so beautiful." They say like, the
Yes.
Gokulan. Yeah, absolutely. Mataji, we really wish you with all our hearts and that Lord Shri Krishna give you so much of joy and happiness in your life and bring you closer and closer to the lotus feet of Radha Gokulananda. This is our prayer for you. And it's always a joy and the service that you're doing for Krishna. May you have lots and lots of beautiful years of serving Radha Gokulananda. This is my
Thank
prayer,
you.
our
Thank you.
prayer
That's
for
what
you.
I'd like. And also, Prabhu, the subject you raised tonight was really good. How do you get closer to Krishna? How can you surrender? So beautiful. And, a lot of us struggle with this because we think we have to fulfill the 1001, all the rituals. We have to fulfill it to get there. And then we feel so frustrated because we can't do it at times. But there are little ways of doing it, and you can still connect. So that's beautiful. Thank you. And
Definitely.
I don't come to these classes often because I do service, but
Yeah, absolutely, Mataji.
I had the time and I joined, and it's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you, everyone. I think for me, it's just like such a joy. Krishna is infinite and Krishna's stories are infinite. And for me, I feel like even though we have stretched the time a bit, but this is a forum. We should have a forum for us to express our heart and express our realizations, share our realizations with our devotees. So this is the platform for us to do. So even though, I apologize for being more time, but for me, it's such a joy to be in the middle of all of you and just share about some of these things in Krishna consciousness. So let's pray that this 2026, we all of us bring closer to Krishna, Radha Gokulanda, serve. Only by service we can get closer to Krishna, and let's pray that we serve each other and help each other in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much, everyone.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
We'll see you next Thursday. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
You're
Very
welcome.
Hare
fantastic class.
Krishna.
Very good.
Thank you. Hare
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Vanchakalpataruscha
कृपा
कृपसिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानं
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
पतितानं
नमः।
पावनेभ्यो
Namaha.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Guru Ji
सकल
Vaishnava
की
Ki
जय।
Jai. Srila Prabhupada
की
Ki
जय।
Jai.
जय।
Hari
गौतम
Hari
प्रभु की,
Bol.
श्याम प्रभु की जय।
जय।
Amunga Prabhu, this is your opportunity to set up another group.
Very nice, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.